Hey guys, this is Junior Trader, and in this video we are taking a look at AMD stock, and we'll be going over the price action and the structure on the in the context and confluence of why I think that AMD will chop around this week, and it's also gonna chop up both calls and the puts options. So this week might be a very tricky week for even options trader because price action is looking like it's gonna chop around. So I'll show you a couple of items here. I didn't create a chart because, well, I didn't had to for this particular purpose. It already explains everything in this case on AMD. So I just wanted to do technicals in this video of AMD and then pick up one or two few more where I'm seeing some spikes that will cover this context that why I'm saying that things will chop around, and that's why I didn't want to put a chart up, just my like bar charts I put for other stocks on the options, because the calls and the puts, in my opinion, both are gonna be chopped up. So let's begin with that, guys. So once I let you know that none of this is any financial advice and is only for education purposes. All right, as for technicals, AMD, what is it doing? Well, it is still holding a higher pivot over here, okay? And we are above 20 days moving average. We are above 50 days moving average, but at the same time, there's this supply zone sitting here, guys. So that is at the level of 169 to 173. Now, I have provided my in-depth opinion in this AMD video as well, still in uptrend, the one that I did 3 days ago. This is still valid technicals for this coming week because market is closed since the time I did this video on AMD. So check that out as well if you want to know much more in-depth analysis there. But as I'm gonna talk in-depth here as well. But yeah, so that's a starting point. There are bulls present, they're still holding a pivot, all right? Technically, it's still in an uptrend. Bulls are holding the strength, the trend line, the pivots, and we are also holding above that level that I have been saying, that $161 or so, okay? That structure is still bullish above this, and you can see we are above that. Now, though, as I'm seeing this huge supply zone, now the reason it's huge supply zone and can't be negated is because this came at, okay, well, I'm on 4 hours. Let's go to the hourly interval. This came at a previous trend line, a rejection, which was trying to hold a support, right? And not just that, this is where even though AMD is bullish right now, as long as AMD now holds above 20 and 50 hours moving average, any pullback at least for a day on this are just a buy. Even $164 is a buy. Structure on AMD is bullish, but once we get to the range of this $170, I expect this thing to do a pullback or again a sell-off or a cool-off, right? Because of a supply zone. So the move that may happen on this may be limited due to this supply zone sitting right over here. And then when the pullback happens, then we have to see which level would hold. But this week is only 4 days week, right? So gotta be very careful over here. And so that's what brings me to the point that it's gonna chop around due to the supply zone up there, and bulls are still trying to push it higher. So if, let's say, for some reason AMD has just so much power that it just says I don't care about the supply zone and just shoot straight up, then sure, good for bulls, right? But right now, as for usually how the chart reacts with these supply zones, they usually react, okay? And that's why I think that we would have a pullback there. And if that pullback comes back down but holds this 50 days moving average and all up or above this blue box, that is still fine, okay? That's just a pullback, yeah. That would be eventually continuing up. But can this happen this week? That's a question mark, and in my opinion, this week would remain choppy. And since I want to focus more on the options as well here, so guys, I'm going to jump into the option. If you want to know more about technicals, I would suggest that check this video out here. AMD stock, is it still in the uptrend, right? That will talk much more in depth. So now going over here on the options, what I'm seeing the spike is at $170 for AMD, this calls right now. That's why it's challenging. That's why I wanted to provide this background of the supply zone, because technically you will only make money if the price goes above 170, because let's see how much those are going for now. So 1.72, so to break even you have to have a price at 171.72. So that would be somewhere right over here, right? So that's running into the supply zone. Above that is only you will make money. So that's why I think that if those maximum amount of cost, because that's where the spike is, right? And that's why I think that may not hit due to the supply zone. Those call options may not make money. Now on the put side, right, we have, calls are still strong. Calls you can see on AMD are still strong, like 14,000, 8,000 and so forth, which are higher than puts. And so, but just because of the supply zone, calls may struggle. But at the same time, is it going to make money on puts? And that's the same thing, right? Though the puts are less, but are the puts going to make money? And that's the thing, no. Why? Because we are trying to hold a level, right? We are trying to hold a level of 50 days moving average. We are technically bullish, right? And we are above the structural level of 161 to $160 as well. So technically there is not much that puts can do here. So, and puts technically are just not, the price action and the structure right now is just not in the puts favor. And then for the calls, there is this huge supply zone sitting. And that's why I think by the time AMD starts to establish itself again through this supply zone after some sell-off and up, the week will be over, and then we'll have to see closer to the end of the week how the price action is looking like going into the next week. But I will cover AMD on day-to-day basis. But all in all, yes, near term we are still bullish. Intraday, sure, it could be traded bullish, right? We went over those levels, like pullback can be bought up on this. Structure is full on bullish, but on the option side, that's where the tricky part is. And most likely AMD mostly is going to stay choppy, or intraday long, okay, not swing long, intraday long, or just going to stay around choppy. These are the only two cases. So yeah, choppy with intraday long, yeah, if that makes sense. So that's my opinion on AMD. I just wanted to quickly go over this options data as well, because I was looking at it and I'm like, no, the price action is just not supporting any direction, even though it's looking bullish. But just because of the supply zone sitting up there, it may chop around and it may chop up these options. All right. So guys, that's all for this video. If you found it helpful, valuable, hit the like, subscribe. If you are also interested in other stocks that I have covered, check these videos out on my channel. And also, if you need access to my tools, links are in the description below. I have 2 indicators, 2 trading pots. All right, guys, I'll see you in my next videos. Bye.